one final setup here. How y'all doing this morning? How are you? How are you doing? How are you? What's going on with you? Make sure I'm muted over here. What's going on? What's going on? How's your week going? Good morning, Tan. Glad to have you this morning. Good morning, Michelle with Black Girls Designs. We missed you yesterday in Color Me Calm. How you doing? What's going on with you? How are you feeling? And get this party started right. Good morning, good morning. Oh, I need to change a few things on here too. Let's do, then I will be ready. All right, let me finish getting my little setup complete. Here we go. There we go. All right. How y'all doing this morning? It's Wednesday. I'm glad to be here. Good morning, Annie. I'm going to go ahead and get this walk started. And every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I just try to give you a little bit of support as you navigate this thing called life. Now, it is a busy season. And so I know with it being a busy season, it also means that we maybe start taking a break on the things. Good morning, Charlene. Glad to have you this morning. Charlene, good morning, Miss Samela. Glad to have you this morning. Samela, I will follow up. Today is my day to follow up on your request. I didn't see any changes in the account, so I will follow up. You'll get an email from me today. Good morning, Jay. Glad to have you this morning. Charlene, Melanated Seduction, she shouted you out yesterday on Color Me Calm. I thought that was super cool, like how between TikTok and Facebook, we're all starting to connect. Good morning, Toya. Glad you're here. Thanks for being here this morning. How are y'all? How are you doing? How are you feeling? You feeling good? Charlene, how are you feeling? Toya, how are you feeling? Miss Samela, how are you feeling? You know, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I was very proud of myself. I put this shirt on and it's not touching me nowhere in the middle. I started getting, started finding myself kind of doubting my progress. And so I put this shirt on and it was a nice reminder that no, I'm making progress. It's just not as quickly as I want. Good. I'm glad to hear you're doing well. Glad to hear you're doing well. So you're doing okay? Okay. I'll take it. You know, my Mother's Day was quite peaceful. I typically send people away for Mother's Day. And so I watched the shows I wanted to watch. I laid in bed. I ate way too much junk. But I have no complaints. My kids are older now, and so I actually think they struggle a little bit because I send everybody away. I send them to grandma's house to celebrate with grandma. And so I think they actually kind of are like, well, we want to be with my mom. But they'll be fine. I think it's more important in this season for them to go and do that with their grandmother, and I'll be here always. And it gives me a break, a much needed break. So No complaints. A lot of laying around. Ate a whole. I bought all the things I ain't had no business eating all weekend long. But it was tasty. I have no regrets. I have no regrets. Charlene says I went to an in-person networking event today. First time since whoa. Good morning, Cookies Corner, all things IP. Good morning. So Charlene, how did it feel to get back in the saddle in the real world? How did it feel? Cookies Corner, how are you doing? Hendrix, how are you doing? Good morning. Those of you that are new to the space, this is Morning Motivations. And every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I just try to offer up some things for you to think about as you navigate mindset, AI, and business. Good morning, Soft Life, Rich Taj. Yeah, Charlene, let us know. I'd like to know how it felt to kind of get back in the saddle with this 2025 you, the new you. Let me know. Good morning, Kimmy Intercessor. Glad to have you here this morning. Good morning to you. Child, I'm here. I'm glad to see you, Kimmy. I haven't been posting as much. I've been having to reassess what I'm doing. So I definitely haven't been posting as much. My plate's too full. I have too much stuff on it right now, and I'm having to reassess and really figure out what it is I'm going to be doing for real. And it's causing me to have to prune some things. So there's some projects that I'm going to do the next couple months, but once I'm done with them, I'm going to have to let them go because it's not allowing me to really focus in on what's really important to me. But I'm glad you're here. Let's see, Charlene says anxiety took over after 2 hours, but it was great, and you got some new connections. And it looks like you've got some possible teaching projects. I love that. I love that you work through your anxiety, right? And it ended up with some possible new income opportunities. And I think that's quite beautiful. You know, sometimes we really do have to work through that anxiety to get us to what we're really trying to go. Good morning, Miss Linda. How are you doing this morning? Cookies Corner says, I'm embracing the day, pushing past my pain and discomfort at the moment. Hey, keep going. Just keep going. Good morning, Del, excuse me. Good morning. Just keep going. And I'm glad you're here. And I'm hopefully I can offer you a few words to help you navigate that. Because sometimes we do got to push through. Sometimes we need to rest, but sometimes we need to push through. Linda, I'm glad to see you too. I'm glad to see you too. I was telling the room earlier that I've been kind of having like this small whisper of a give up spirit. Like I just want to give up on everything. Good morning, Jim Lewis. And I started psyching myself out in my mind that maybe I'm not doing doing enough or doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And maybe I should just give up on all of it. And I put this shirt on and it's pretty much big all the way around. And I was like, okay, you know, you're not where you want to be and it's going to take time. It's going to take time. But I'm not where I used to be either. I need to, you know what I need to do? I need to take new pictures and I need to do measurements. Because I need to just remind myself as to how far I came. I'm going to do that. How are you doing, Jen? How you doing, Crystal? And I'm sharing this, guys, because even though I'm here and you're seeing me, I have the same challenges that everybody else has. And just like Cookie's Corner this morning, Charlene this week, I'm having to push through them to keep going. Yeah, I'm going to take some pictures. I'm going to pull my remote out or set the timer on my phone and take some pictures so I can visually remind myself that I am making progress. I'm just not where I want to be yet. and I'll get there. Let's see. Charlene says, yep, definitely push yourself off the anxiety cliff. And you hope to do it again next week. Come on. Come on. When we can get past that anxiety, man, we're literally pushing ourselves into the thing that we've always dreamed about. Because who knows where these teaching possibilities can take you. It might take you into full-time work if that's what you want. Retainer projects. The options are limitless, but we got to take the swing. We've got to take the swing. So I'm excited for you. And hopefully the feelings, that anxious feeling will start to dissipate the more you do it. That's my hope for you. All right, guys. Crystal, how you feeling? How are you? I've got a few new names in the group, so I'm going to start from the top just for a few of my new folks. Howdy, I'm Martine Brown, and this is Morning Motivations. And every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I try to hop on. I walk, talk, give you some encouragement. We talk AI, business strategy, content creation, and mindset. All right, right now we're in a Kaizen series. It's a Japanese philosophy that simply means getting better a little bit at a time. Good morning, Petra. That's all it means. We're working towards improvement a little bit at a time. All right? That's what we're working on. That is what we are attempting to do. And over the next couple weeks, we're going to discuss some of the principles that come from Kaizen. I've got several people that are like, yep, we've done this at work. And I think I'm going to move forward with this because I have just learned that any skills I've gained in my workplace have actually served me quite well in my business. I feel like I got away with something a little bit. Like because I took certain trainings that were required of me or attended conferences and events, I can actually be a better business owner. And I didn't have to pay for it because it was part of my training on the job. Petra, how you doing this morning? Our Canadian friend, how are you doing? Well, you got the Canadian flag, so I'm assuming that's what that means. Right, so we're going to talk Kaizen. Or Kaizen? I don't know. But what we're really going to talk about is making assumptions. Put a 1 in the chat if you've made an assumption and that assumption was wrong. Put a 1 in the chat. Uh-oh, I got to tie my shoe. So while I tie my shoe, put a 1 in the chat if you've made assumptions and they were wrong. I know I have. And the times when like I actually realized that there was so much information I lacked and I was making whole decisions off them assumptions. Okay? I was making decisions about how I was going to engage, how I felt about the person, how I wanted to treat them. I was making assumptions about how I wanted to navigate the workspace or the relationship, or how I was going to handle my child's teacher, often without all of the information I need to make an informed decision. We all do this, some to greater degrees than others. These assumptions are killing our businesses. They're killing our relationships. And I want to talk about it today. And I just want you to really start slowing down and thinking through the assumptions you're making about your business or within the context of your personal lives, because this applies to both. All right, so that's what I really want to take some time to focus on as we continue to grow. And those of you that are new, listen, I'm going through this alongside you. I'm not in front of you. I'm not behind you. We're doing it together. Because I know there have been times that I've made a lot of assumptions and I just had it all wrong. Teenagers, they do a great job of making assumptions. And they lack all of the information. It's usually that's when we really start making assumptions without the full data, and it holds us back. Okay? So assumptions are when we question the methods, the beliefs, or patterns. I'm sorry, I got it wrong. We got to let go of our assumptions. Okay? We've got to let go of our assumptions because they're stopping us in our business. We assume that no one reads our emails. But have you actually looked at the data? We assume that people are going to buy our product because we like it. But have you done the market research to find out what people like? We assume that if we purchase this drink, that diet plan, if we just buy it, that it's going to push us to reach our goals. But have we ever really spent time to really figure out if it's the best option for us? We assume that our husband, spouse, significant other, co-parent has a perspective, feels a certain kind of way, is making a decision to hurt us, and we treat them differently based on that assumption. We didn't talk to them. We didn't collect more data. Sometimes we use our historical past with people and we make assumptions about how we need to treat people in the present. I'll give you an example. In the past, you've had poor relationships with men, and so you assume that those past patterns will impact your current or future relationships. So you go into those relationships with less trust, and it's all based on an assumption. And it makes it harder for you to keep and sustain relationships because you assume that their behavior is going to be just like a previous partner's, your ex-husband, your parents, your former boss. All of these things impact how we're going to navigate our lives. Question for you. Think about people you know. I want you to think about people that you know. All right? When people have made assumptions about you, what has been the impact? Let me know in the chat. So when people have made assumptions about you or about your family or about your relationship, how did that impact you or those around you? Okay? So I'm flipping it a little bit because I want you to really think about it. Good morning, Douglas. When people made assumptions about you, what was the impact? In a lot of environments for me, people assume that I'm tough or regimented. I'm dark-skinned, I'm a black woman. They assume that I am aggressive, that I'm easily angered. I've had people to assume that because I'm very structured, that I'm also very regimented, which is not true. But they've made that assumption. They assume that I'm someone that should be feared or that I am in some way perfect. And that impacts me because then I feel uncertain in those interactions because they haven't paused enough to really learn about who I actually am and not the perception or the assumptions that they've made up. So that's me. Good morning, Miss Patricia. And oftentimes, once they get to know me, they realize that those assumptions aren't quite as true as maybe they thought. So put in the chat, what assumptions, good morning, Talia. What are some assumptions that people have made about you that you feel were not true or inaccurate? Drop it in the chat. Man, I love these new If y'all haven't tried this out, tap the screen. TikTok does these new reactions, and they're super cool. I really like it. I like the one that does like this. Yeah, these emojis. I think that's so cool. Somebody's gonna dress up like these emojis for Halloween. I just want you to know. Miss Patricia, how are you doing this morning? Talia, how you feeling this morning? I've been so proud of my friend. She has wrapped up her contract, and she's like the song. She's got a new attitude. She's been jumping headfirst into all of her dreams and desires. Now that she's got the capacity for it, it's been quite nice to watch. But go-getters are that way. Drop it in the chat. Drop it in the chat. Y'all let me know. What are some assumptions that people make about you? Let me know in the chat. Miss Linda said people assume that she's mean. I'm gonna assume that they take cues from how you stand or how you hold your face or whether or not you smile or not, Miss Linda. I know sometimes you be driving, so I'm filling in the blanks here. I would have never thought that, but okay. She says people assume that she's mean. All right. Petra says people say she has the rest in B face. They think that she's either a snob or she's mean, but she's neither. Miss Patricia says people assume she's boring. Someone else said that. I think someone else said that. Who else said that? I think Charlene said that. Let me go back up. I think Charlene said that. Tanya says people assume that she's stuck up until they realize I'm a goofball. Yeah, people also assume. I don't know what that is because I like to be by myself. So Linda, you're like slightly introverted, so people assume that because you don't necessarily jump in with the crowd, they think that means that you're mean or unapproachable. Got it. Assume I was mean because of my face, and I was timid because I'm more quiet, but neither is true. Or inconsistent. Got it. Okay, got it. So, given these assumptions that were made, what has been the impact? How does that impact you? Does it change how you behave? Do you find yourself making adjustments? Have you gotten, I know I've got some 60 plus club in the house. 60 plus club. Over time, have you gotten to a point where you're like, forget it, it is what it is? So tell me a little bit about the impact that people's assumptions have had about you. And then we're going to talk about how this all relates to our business. So for some of us, it makes us withdraw even more. My 60 plus club is saying it is what it is. You either take me as I am. I like it. I'm checking all my checks. Seven, and doesn't care as much. Yeah, you don't. So over time, you find that you don't care as much. But sometimes it makes some of us more quiet. Sometimes it makes you more fall back, kind of shrink a little bit. Yeah, I thought I had a few. I know I had some 60 plus clubs in here. Right? So, for some of us, over time, we built like a stronghold, so to speak, where we repel people's assumptions, right? We move on through it. For some of us, myself included, it still bothers us a little bit. We're emotionally impacted, or we make adjustments to our own behavior to account separate, shrink, right? But in either case, whether we tend to be responsive to it or not, we're making a choice in how we respond. Now, what does this have to do with our business? Everything. Because we have already taught ourselves how to respond to people's assumptions. But when we come to our business and we make assumptions about our business, we often do nothing to change our reality. I'm going to say that again. I want to make sure you're rolling with me here. All right? When people make assumptions about us, we respond. Either we say, take me as I am, or don't take me at all. We may respond by just not letting it impact us anymore. Or our other response is to behavior adjustment. So we may adjust how we behave. We may shrink. We may become even more what you have. Because eventually, you've got to sell to more than your family and friends. You've got to sell to a stranger. Your family and friends will stop buying eventually. Okay? Put a 1 in the chat if you can start exploring in your business. Put a 1 in the chat if you feel like you can start exploring more in your business. Exploring means learning what the person wants. Where are they? Where do they shop? What do they want? What do they need? How do they buy it? Do they look like you? Do they not look like you? All right? So that's the first part of this puzzle. In your personal lives, exploring means communication. Okay? So spouses, significant others, boyfriends, children, we make a lot of assumptions in our relationships. We make a lot of assumptions in our relationships. And we literally build up a whole case against those we love when they upset us, when they don't do what we need them to do, all on the basis of assumptions. So we've got to start exploring, and we've got to start asking questions and really communicating our needs. And until you do that, you're not going to like it. But your assumptions are one of the biggest deal breakers in that relationship. And it doesn't matter if it's marital, significant other, or your children. All right? Or your children, your siblings, your parent, your co-parent. Stop assuming and start exploring and figuring out why we're at this place, which means you got to talk to them. You got to ask the right questions. And you got to close your mouth and then listen. Not defend yourself. Not double down on why you're right. Close your mouth and listen. Y'all understand? So whether it's business or personal, stop assuming, start exploring. All right? And it's something that I have to work on. You have to work on. I'm about to have a ton of different conversations because it just really struck me how much I had assumed in all kinds of relationships that I have, and I really didn't stop to really ask or really communicate what I needed in order to effectively
So